Morning everyone. I'm sorry it's been a little while. I've just been adjusting my trading strategy. So I wanted to hold off from posting more videos until I really understood, how my trading style was going to change, and that's what this video is about. This is in response to the madness, if I can call it that, that's going on in America. It seems like every time Trump opens his mouth, the stock market is going crazy. Some people think that's deliberate. As a trader, I have just learnt ways to adapt my trading style to cope with it and to stop it from wrecking my trading strategy. So I'm just going to share with you some helpful tips that I've got to help you adjust your own strategies. So anyone that's familiar with my channel, they'll be aware that I look for a setup on the daily time frame to start with. I filter the stock markets and indices and commodities based on the daily time frame first. I wait for the MACD and signal lines to have made a dip down, and they're in a sort of just starting to make a crossover position, and then I trade the market as it rides up this, as it ascends to previous highs, really. So what I found since about October time last year is that when Trump was making tweets, I would apply my normal strategy, which was very successful for me for a number of years, and then the market would just smash down and hit my stop, and it was happening to me quite a few times. So I actually went back to doing something that I did in the very beginning as a trader. I didn't used to apply stops in the beginning. I was just managing my risk very carefully and in a manual way. So one of the things I do now is I don't apply stops to my positions. I just monitor the markets, and in order to cope with the speed of that and the speed you need to think while you're doing that in a manual way, I've gone up a few time frames onto the 30-minute time frame. So my trading time frame is now the 30-minute time frame. For me, that's extremely slow, and it enables me to really scan the market, look at the chart, and understand what's going on, and consider what Trump's just published or released into the market in terms of what's going on with the price. So helps me to think really slowly about what's going on the screen, whether I should cut my losses or just stay in the position. So that's one of the main things, really. Another thing to help manage risk in terms of my own strategy is I've started trading the indices quite a bit. So because I am more there's two more things that I do. I'm more loose with where my stop loss goes in my head. So for example, if I'm trading this index and I want to get in on the 30-minute time frame, let's say the price has come down like this, I know that this is in a dip. I'm more loose with where I get in, and I look at it as more of a holistic approach to where I get in and out. I'm trying to avoid the pursuit of perfection in terms of entries and exits. My entries and exits were more perfect previously. I used to just set the stop, set a target, just do all the research on the market before I got in, and just leave it alone. Now I don't do that. I take a more sort of woolly approach to where I think the market's formed a dip, and I get in, but bearing in mind the indices like the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. If you try and apply a really strict method of getting in using an indicator like the MACD, for example, it doesn't really work. So you can see here, by the time the MACD made a crossover, the market had already reached the previous high here. Excuse me. So instead of waiting for that signal to happen, I just look at the market as a whole. I base my entries and exits a lot more on support and resistance, where I think the support is. So as it's dropped down here, I would just say, right, it's losing its strength in the downwards move. The MACD has gone from dark red to light pink. This is a good place to get in. It's in a strong uptrend, and I would get in here and ride the wave of it going up. Another thing I've started doing is moving my stop. So I don't place a stop when I get in, but once the position goes into profit, I do put a stop loss on there, and I set it to neutral in the beginning, and then I start moving it up to the previous high. The previous low. So let's say I got in here and the price has moved up here. I would now have my stop loss sitting here below this low of the trend, and I would keep moving it up. It's been really profitable for me, making good money this way, and these things have just really helped me to adjust to what the markets are doing right now. I think this is the new world. A lot of other traders are saying it as well, and it can feel quite isolating when you've applied a strategy, it was working fine, and then suddenly you're getting more losses. Your win rate's gone down below what it used to be. My win rate was 60% consistently for about 3 years in applying my MACD strategy. Excuse me. And I just started getting more losses because every time Trump was opening his mouth, it was smashing down into my stop, and then the price would just go back up to where I thought it was going to go anyway. So I just wanted to share this video to explain that I've adjusted my strategy. You don't need to let it you don't need to let what's going on stop you from becoming a trader. Just try and think smartly about how you can get around what's going on. I don't encourage you as a new trader to get into markets where you really don't know what you're doing without a stop loss. You have to be extremely disciplined and cut your losses if you can see the market is going against you and it's gone below. If you believe that there's no point in you being in that trade anymore, except for the fact that you don't want to take a loss, you really need to have the strength and discipline to cut your losses if you're not using a stop loss. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it helps people who have been following my strategy to understand how to deal with all the turbulence right now. If you think this video helped you in your trading right now, it would really help my channel to grow if you could give me a thumbs up or share the video, and I really appreciate all your support for my channel. So thanks a lot, guys. Right, bye.